Thanks for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. Topping our headlines this afternoon, the rapper known as Young Scooter has died after police say that he ran away from officers. It happened just before 5:30 last night on William Nye Drive near the Lakewood Amphitheater in southeast Atlanta. Police say that someone called 911 after hearing shots and saw a woman being dragged into the home. They say that two men ran out of the back door when officers arrived. According to police, one came back, but 39-year-old Kenneth Bailey, also known as Young Scooter, jumped two fences and then fractured his leg. He was taken to the hospital, but unfortunately, doctors could not save him, and he later died.
When the male was fleeing.
Atlanta police are still investigating because officers did not find any shooting victims or a woman described in the 911 call, but it's still a lot of unanswered questions here. There's been a lot of, misinformation spreading on social media as well. And our Bridget Spencer is going to have much more in a live report coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. Okay, I want to turn now to the issue of school safety and the legislation that is being debated surrounding all of that. Just a few days left now in the current legislative session. Lawmakers really down to the wire, making final changes to their bills, and that does include two proposed laws on gun safety as well as school safety. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon has the major alterations to these bills.
Well, it is that time of the year here at the Capitol where bills that seem like a sure thing start to undergo some major changes. That's exactly what happened this week. It happened to a bill that would have created a database to track potentially violent students in our state, and it also happened to a bill that would have offered tax rebates for the purchase of safe gun storage. The Interschool Safety Database was one of House Speaker John Burns' priorities, but that component of House Bill 268 disappeared once the Senate got a hold of it. Some lawmakers and parents were concerned it equated to surveillance of students. Burns saying Friday he still supports any efforts made to improve school safety.
I know that it will offer protections for our students in Georgia for a safe learning place so they can excel.
We learned of the change the same day students and families from Appalachia High School visited the Capitol, calling for more safety measures and gun control after they suffered the deadliest act of school violence in Georgia history.
This tragedy was preventable, and stricter gun laws and proactive safety measures could have saved lives.
This year, State Representative Michelle Au, a Democrat who hosted the event, supported an up to $300 tax credit for the purchase of safe gun storage equipment and classes. She was disappointed that a Senate committee watered down the bill to only offer the credit for classes.
I don't know if they think that the activists who are here and the students and the families that are listening are stupid enough to think that this is action on gun safety.
It's not as much as some lawmakers wanted, but Speaker Burns said it's still a step in the direction of safety.
I just want to see us get something done, and if that incorporates then a sales tax credit, I'm good with that.
It's down to the wire now. Just 5 more legislative days to go until that all-important last day, sine die, next Friday. From the state capitol, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
And turning to Bartow County, federal agents raided a warehouse there. Atlanta News First reporter Alani Latang reports the owner is now accused of labor trafficking and financial crimes.
It's a long-running investigation.
Well-Made Industries, a Bartow County flooring company, is facing federal allegations of labor trafficking and financial crimes against Chinese and other foreign nationals. On Wednesday, the feds raided the company's warehouse in Cartersville, plus 7 homes believed to be employee housing.
The main thing today out here was just identifying victims of the labor trafficking so that we could fully identify them and interview them.
In 2020, Well-Made invested $35 million to expand and bring 240 jobs. Federal agents allege Well-Made used fraud and coercion to persuade foreign nationals to work. Officials have arrested the owner, Zhu Chen, on state charges. Kerry Weaver says he lives next to him.
And there would be 5 to 10 people get out and they would go in, and it was just always a different group of Asian people that going in and out of the house.
One former employee is suing Well-Made over unlawful labor practices and racial discrimination. The lawsuit states the employee was never given a promised role as director and said non-Chinese employees were not given an opportunity to compete for management roles. This former employee, who asked to stay anonymous, says none of this is surprising. Conditions inside
unsafe. A lot of stuff you would bring to their attention, they would blow it off. Safety as far as material being stacked too high.
What ultimately made you want to leave Well-Made?
My life. At the end of the day, that's what it boiled down to, my life.
And now to Marietta, where folks are building a community for families who are homeless. Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford spoke with a woman who wants to put land behind her Marietta business to good use.
Well, owner Molly Holm has had a passion for helping people experiencing homelessness. Now her goal is to turn this 1-acre lot behind her business into a place of refuge.
Over the years, Holy House in Marietta has employed people experiencing homelessness.
Physically and mentally, I was just beat down. I mean, there's just, you have no friends, no family, nothing to live for. I mean, she saved my life.
64-year-old Donna Cheek is one of their success stories.
Just gave me everything I needed.
The wholesale home decor retailer is looking to scale up their approach in a tiny way.
We had just gotten the land finally cleared from the city. And I just knew, I felt like the Lord had just laid it on my heart that said, this is what you're going to do with the land.
Owner Molly Holm says they're now looking to turn this empty lot into a tiny house village for families experiencing homelessness.
We're going to be able to help the population that might just be behind on a rent payment. They might have had a family sickness. They could have had a crisis.
Holmes says they're working with local churches, nonprofits, and private businesses to raise the money needed to build Emmanuel's Village, which will consist of 15 tiny homes like this one.
It's going to cost us about $3 million to pull the project off.
She says the homes will provide transitional housing for families with children in the Marietta City School District.
We know there's over 500 unhoused children in the Marietta City School System, and in Cobb County, it's in the thousands.
Cheek says a job at Holy House has helped her get her life back on track.
I would have no hope. I don't think I'd be alive.
Holmes says this project will allow them to expand their reach.
Our goal is that we can make generational change.
Holm is hoping to have this village up and running by the beginning of August. If you would like to donate to her project, we have all the information on our website. You can find that by heading to atlantanewsfirst.com. In Marietta, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
Animal advocates turning to lawmakers right now to try to tackle overcrowded shelters. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Soros shares what they're looking for and how they're asking for it.
That's a good close-up, River.
These are some of Georgia's adorable adoptable pets. Shelters and organizations met just outside of the state capitol doors, hoping these furry faces would pull on lawmakers' heartstrings.
We like to keep pets and people together, so it's providing resources to families who are falling on hard times. We all know the economic crisis that we're under, the prices of food. They have to choose whether to feed their children or to feed their animals.
They say right now there's an inhumane crisis in Georgia's shelters, forcing them to euthanize. The Georgia Department of Agriculture released a report more than 33,000 dogs and cats were euthanized by Georgia Animal Control last year. Compared that to more than 12,000 in 2020.
People don't want to give up their pets, but they get put in a situation where they have no other choice, and that's why shelters exist. So we're trying to look at this crisis with solution-based methods to stop animals from coming into the shelters.
They're looking to lawmakers for financial and legislative support, incentives for veterinarians to move to rural areas where there are none, and funding to help them lower adoption rates. This year, one lawmaker withdrew his bill that would require a court order for euthanasia of any domesticated animal. State Representative Jordan Ridley named the bill the Justice for Peanut and Fred Act. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon, beloved on social media, euthanized by New York officials after anonymous complaints the animals had rabies.
Just seeing like what happened with that person, all the public outcry, people talking about, well, the state could come in and seize my animal, so we just wanted to make sure that people across the state, that their animals were protected.
Ridley says he'll be pushing hard for his bill next year because it never made it through a critical deadline. Georgia ranks in the top 10 states for animal kill rates, according to the Best Friends Animal Society's No Kill campaign. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Casores.
And more on this and all of our top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and our free mobile news app. Now back to local.